Hi everyone! So I'm back from my trip now, and I apologize you guys for it being so long before I posted. I have had a heck of a time. Seriously, a heck of a time ever since I came back to Alaska. It has not been friendly. It has been not been nice to me or friendly to me ever since I've gotten back. Okay. Is what happened is my grandpa passed away, and I came back to middle of winter snow blizzard conditions. Okay. And my laptop went kaput on me, and I mean, it wasn't snowing in Fairbanks or anything, but it was very cool and rainy and everything. But I mean, we had to go spread my grandpa's ashes up at the mine, and then go up to Eagle Summit and everything. So way up there, it was snow blizzard conditions, whiteout conditions, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I went from 80 degrees sunshine and pure blissful, heavenly blissfulness to 20 degrees in blizzard conditions within a couple of days. It was just like, that's typical for Alaska. Nothing new, you know, nothing new for me. But so that's why I haven't posted anything yet, guys. So thank you for staying tuned and checking back and everything. And so I've been trying to post as much as I could to my Instagram there, guys. So I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my trip here. And yeah, and that's another thing is I was in summertime clothes down there, and now I'm into my winter jacket, hats and gloves, and gosh dang it, I do not like it. I don't like it at all. But I just wanted to share with you guys that where I went, first of all, you guys, I apologize for not letting you guys know where I went, because I really wanted to keep it hush hush. I didn't want anybody to really know. I needed it to be just me. I really didn't want anybody's opinions about where I was going. And so I'll let you guys know where I went now. I went to San Luis Obispo, California. So yes, guys, I went to California. And why did I go there? Well, it was just the first stop. I said, well, I got to start somewhere. So I started in California. I had no idea SLO, California even existed, and it was just through my research of finding best year-round warm places and family-friendly places and low-crime cities, small-town cities, and San Luis Obispo came up. So I'm like, why not? Let's start there, since California is on the same side of the United States as Alaska is. So I didn't have to fly all the way across the United States. So I just said, well, let's just start there. And it was a small enough area like Fairbanks, because I am not going to no big cities, okay guys? No big cities for Miss Stace. And so SLO, California fit the bill pretty good. And my experience down there for my very first time, it was perfect. It really was. And the driving conditions, the people down there, and the fruit trees, the weather, oh my gosh, for my first time experience, it was absolutely perfect. And my plane ride, my plane went straight from Fairbanks to Seattle, and Seattle directly into SLO, California, which was nice, because there's no way in heck I'm going to stop in a San Francisco airport or a Los Angeles airport. Oh my gosh, no, I've heard bad stories, and I don't even want to go to those airports. So the biggest airport I've ever been in is the Seattle airport, and I can tell you right now, I don't like the Seattle airport, but it was okay. And that's just because I'm a small town city type girl, you know, Alaskan girl, you know, and so I'm into the populations for towns and everything of where it's roughly 60,000 people or less. Okay, well, maybe 70,000 people or less. And no big cities, okay? Gotta be where there's space and it's spread out, you know, and everything. But so that's the dealio there, guys. But I visited like just the SLO, California area, and the main reason I was down there, of course, is to figure out, okay, can I see myself living here? Can I see myself living here and relocating here? And so I was down there for 9 days, and I rented my own vehicle. It was only me. I had no friends or family down there. No friends or family came with me. It was completely by myself, okay? And so it was my first time too, and it was perfect. And so it was quite wonderful, quite the experience, and I loved it. And I got a lot of sunshine just within the time I was down there. I got more sunshine down there than I have ever gotten in a whole summer up here in Alaska. That says a lot, okay? Even though it may not look like I've gotten a tan or anything, but when I came back, I did. Everybody noticed it. My friends and family all noticed it. That and I still notice it, that I turned brown, and because when I first went down there, I was pure white, okay? But the first thing I noticed, you guys, when I well, actually flying in, was awesome. I saw tons of farm fields, grape fields. I was so excited. And when I stepped off that plane, the first thing I noticed was the air. The air was moist. It was humid. It was the perfect type of humidity though. And I can tell it was not dry, because San Luis Obispo, I've noticed, is like a touch of tropics but a touch of desert also, and I'm good with that. And I know Alaska, we're known as an Arctic desert, and so I knew it was not dry down there. Okay, it was not dry. I know what dry air feels like, and Alaska is dry, and San Luis Obispo, California, is not dry. That was the perfect type of humidity, and I was so happy when I was walking off the plane and I saw palm trees. It was crystal clear. The whole time I was down there, it was crystal clear. It was in the mid 80s during the day and in the 60s at night. It was absolutely amazing. I appreciated the sunshine and the warmth. I mean, the air, the wind, when it blew, it was warm. It wasn't cold. It wasn't cold. It was warm. And the sun, just to go everywhere and not freeze or be cool or cold or anything, was so wonderful. And that was one thing I wanted to mention, is that when you've been deprived of basic necessities for quite a while and you've been finally given the experience to feel it again, you appreciate the simple little things. Like I was like so excited and so thankful that I was just in the sunshine and I was warm and I got to see fruit on the trees. That was the main thing, and I was just so happy for that. And I can tell you right now, I did not want to come back. My whole plane ride coming back to Alaska, I was not very happy, okay? I did not want to leave the sun. I did not want to leave the warmth, and I did not want to leave the fruit trees. It was such a good experience for me. And so yeah, I visited SLO, California, the whole area, and then I went to Avila Beach, and I went to Pismo Beach to see the California coastline there, which was pretty cool. And then I went to Morro Bay to see Morro Bay also, and then I wanted to see some other places, but I didn't have enough time there. But I did, let's see, what was some other things? The fruit trees. I saw tons of fruit farms. I went to as many types of local farms and farmers markets as I could. That was so neat to see fruit farms and orchards, apple orchards. And the fruit that I saw was, I located all the free fruit trees down there, and as many as I could. And then of course ones that I could see but I couldn't really pick from. But I saw fig trees. I posted them as many as I could on my Instagram, and as you guys can tell from the descriptions, I was super happy, if you couldn't tell from the descriptions, but I was super happy. I was in my raw vegan heaven, and just, oh, it was wonderful. But I saw fig trees, I saw pomegranate trees, lime trees, lemon trees, grapes on the vines, huge grapes, and grapefruits, oranges, Valencia oranges, pumpkin patches and pumpkin farms, kumquats. They were not kumquats, but I posted a video on my Instagram kind of about my first of my trip there, and I know what kumquats are, and these were similar, but that I knew they were not kumquats, so it was a different type of quat fruit. But it was cool. It was neat to pick it from the tree. And then there was avocado trees, tons of different types of apples, galas, Brayburns, and Fujis I saw all over the place, and prickly pear fruit. I saw prickly pear fruit also, which was pretty neat. And I really like the cactus plants. I take care of some of my own cactus plants in my house, and down there it was so cool to see the cactuses. They were huge. It was so cool. And sorry guys if the sun's in my eyes. This is actually the first of actual sunshine since I've been back to Alaska that I have really seen and have felt. So it's nice to see the sunshine again, but there ain't no heat to it right here, I can tell you that. But then there was two things. You know how everybody kind of has their own bucket list? Well, there was two things I got to cross off my bucket list. I've always wanted to see a pumpkin patch, and I've always wanted to actually take a basket and pick apples and fill my basket full of apples, and I did that. It was so wonderful. I loved it so much. I went to the SLO, California farm, and they had an apple orchard, and I took a basket and picked apples from a tree. They were Brayburn apples, and filled a basket. It was wonderful. It was such a cool experience, and to see the pumpkins in the patches and the farms was so cool. Oh my goodness. And of course the vegetation, you guys, was amazing. The palm trees, the different types of trees that are down there. There's so many different types of trees down there, and I thought spruce trees were big up here in Alaska. Oh my gosh, this is nothing compared to what's in California. My goodness, I would stand by the trees and I'd put my hand up there and I go, oh my gosh, these trees are huge. They're bigger than spruce trees in Alaska. I was amazed. And it was just so cool to see all the different types of palm trees, all the different types of flowers. I saw hummingbirds, which was so cool. I've never seen a hummingbird before. And different types of roses, wild roses, and different types of flowers that you just don't see up here in Alaska, of course, but it was so cool. And I was just happy, you know. Most of the time I was just standing there, you know. I would be walking down the road. I'm like, oh, I gotta take a picture of this. I take a picture of that plant because it's new. I've never seen it before. And I would just stand there and I would just look at there. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a darn palm tree. I can't believe this. That is a palm tree. I was just so happy that, oh my gosh, there's a palm tree and I got to touch it. Oh, it was so neat. It was so cool. And a lot of people probably thought I was weird or kind of crazy there, but I didn't care because it's all new to me. I've never seen it or experienced it before, or much less even touched it before. It was so cool. And I want to say I saw date palms too, but I don't want to say for sure because I didn't see ripe dates or anything, but I want to say they were date palms, but I'm not sure. So but it was just cool to see palm trees nonetheless, you know. And so the vegetation was awesome, all the cactuses and everything. And then there was this in my bedroom, the room. I stayed at the Peachtree Inn, if you're curious, and I got to touch a lot of different types of fruits and stuff. But after my first day there, after I settled in, I was just standing outside my window and I was just thanking God, you know, for this experience and actually getting me down there. I was nice and warm. The sun was in my face and I was looking outside. I'm like, that's a fruit tree right outside my window, because I saw an orange spot. I'm like, is that an orange tree? I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I have a fruit tree right outside my window. I didn't even know this. So I went outside and went around the corner. I'm like, it was an orange tree. I couldn't pick oranges from the tree. Most of them were unripe, but I couldn't pick from them because they were on the Peachtree Inn property. But nonetheless, God planted me in a room I didn't even know that had a fruit tree, right? It was like the only fruit tree on Peachtree property there, that God planted me in that room. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, God. So my whole trip, in the evening time when I'm back in my room, I have an actual fruit tree right there to look at. It was awesome. And then one other last thing, you guys, is the driving. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. I have never seen a 65-mile-an-hour speed limit sign before. So by the end of my trip, I got used to driving 60, 65 miles an hour. The highest speed I've driven was 55 miles an hour up here. But I mean, I've been in a vehicle where it's been like 70 miles an hour, but not me driving. So when I was driving there, I was like, holy mackerel, this is fast. This is fast driving. But that's one thing, is I'm a very careful driver, and I live in winter conditions, and it's mostly winter conditions most of the year up here in Alaska. So you are very careful when you drive, okay? Because when you're driving on snow and ice, you got to make sure you can stop to make the light. You got to make sure you can stop for the stop sign. You got to make sure you can stop to make the corner, or so you don't slide into somebody else, or so you don't slide off the road, you know. So for me, I am constantly in cautious mode, and when it's summertime, I can't just switch it off. So my cautious driving is with me all throughout the year. So when I went down there, that's what I noticed is a lot of I made sure, I'm like, okay, I'm in California, so these are California drivers, most of them, and a lot of people drive fast. And so I'm like, just pass me, you guys. I am an Alaskan tourist here, okay? I'm Alaskan and I'm a tourist. Just drive around me, please. And I would drive the speed limit, but I was very careful. And people, that's one thing I kept thinking about. I'm like, man, people are so confident that they're going to stop. They're so confident in their vehicles that they're going to make the light, that they're going to make the corner, and that they're going to stop. And because they're just zipping around and everything, I'm just like, it was kind of fast-paced life down there too. And even though it's known as slow California, coming from Alaska, especially Fairbanks, Alaska, it seemed like a faster paced life down there. But people were happy. I can tell everybody was just overall happy down there on a daily basis because the sun's always out and it's warm. Who wouldn't be, you know? But as far as driving, I was just like, man, you people can drive this way, and you drive this way because you've never driven in winter conditions before. I bet you if you driven in winter conditions, you would not be driving that as fast as you're driving. And because for me, I was cautious, but I'm like, I know my vehicle can make it on these roads because it's like summer driving. It's just they never experience any snow or ice. I'm like, Stace, that's why you're down here, because there's no winter conditions. And so I just like, oh yes, that's right. And all the houses and the cars were parked on these steep hillsides and parked on the side of the road. So I'm like, there's no way you would do that in an Arctic environment because your car would not stay in one spot in the wintertime. I'm like, well, people can do that here, Stace, because they don't experience snow or ice. So I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. Very different living, but that's one thing I just noticed is like how we're all on the same planet, but we live so completely different lives that it feels like we're on completely different planets. I know for me, when I was down there, I was like, this is so surreal to me. I'm like, am I even on the same planet here? And it was so cool. But I'm like, yeah, Stace, you're on the same planet, but this is like a whole completely different world. And, you know, I went to so many farmers markets, you know, too. And I went to the Villa Valley Barn, which was so cool. Got to see huge pick huge peaches and fresh figs and all types of berries and pears and grapes and everything. And my goodness, after being down there, I'm like, why is there even civilization up there in Alaska? Why would anybody want to live in Alaska? You realize how much you're missing out on life. I mean, I stand by my statement, like I've always mentioned before in my other videos, you guys, that still, you guys have no idea how good you've got it down in the lower 48 in warmer climates. If you're further south than Alaska, you don't know how good you've got it. I still stand by my statement because there's so much you can do in your overall feeling, and your body's just happy in a warmer climate, for heaven's sakes. Like, oh my gosh, I can't tell you how cold I've been ever since I've been back. But anyways, that's my trip, you guys. It was a fabulous, wonderful first time experience for me. And I don't know if I'm going to make the winter up here, and I might move sooner than I think, but I'm going to continue visiting more places now. And it was wonderful. Okay, guys, so we're back to making more videos here, you guys, and I'm still posting to my Instagram if you're interested there, guys. And so I'll let you guys go. Remember to love being raw, you guys. Put a big old smile on your face today. I hope I did that for you guys, and I'll see you next video, okay? Bye, guys.